Hello everybody, how are you on this wonderful Tuesday? I usually say on this first day of the week as on a Monday, because typically I'm going to be doing Monday messages and I do my lives on a Monday, but we find ourselves on a Tuesday today because yesterday was a bank holiday weekend, and wow, what a bank holiday weekend I've had. If you've been watching stories, you know it's been a little bit more of a emotional roller coaster for me this weekend, but on the back also of quite an emotional roller coaster of a couple of weeks, definitely since the beginning of August. And really that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. So I hope you've got your cup of tea, whether you're watching me live, whether you're watching me on replay today. I want to take you through a couple of things that I've learnt over the last few weeks, especially over the weekend, that really served me and helped me. And that I hope my hindsight will be your foresight going forward into this big, badass world that we have, where there are so many ups and downs, and where we love to think that everything is going to be smooth sailing, but it very rarely is. And I want to, I suppose my goal through everything that I share with you is for you to be forearmed, forewarned, and to act in a way that you're proud of, to be able to respond, to be able to cope with everything that life gives you. And for those of you, if you're watching me live, if you're watching me on replay, if this is the first time you've ever experienced me speak, then hello, I'm Ali Mortimer. I am a mentor and coach. And what I have come to understand, and having given myself this brief period of time of pause over the summer to really refocus where I want to be, is really bringing that balance back into your life. And I don't necessarily just mean that balance of work and life. What I mean is that balance of life and love and work and purpose, career, health, joy, connection, adventure. It's not just two-dimensional. It's how do we balance everything that's in our life and in this moment of time, and how do we maintain that feeling of balance or in control when a big storm comes along, when something comes to disrupt our path. How do we maintain that balance within us, even when there is chaos reigning really around us? One thing that I have learnt in the last decade of doing personal development work is that there is a unique blend for every single person in their life, both in terms of the masculine and the feminine. And what I mean by that, if you're new to those terms, is the masculine, it is the structures, the routines, the strategies that you have in life. And although I'm quite a flowy person, I'm able to flow in my feminine energy because I do have the structures and the routines and the rituals and a toolbox that I can call on that enables me to be in that very beautiful feminine energy of allowing myself to feel my emotions, to be able to go with the flow, to be able to lean back, to rest, to trust, to have all of those wonderful things like surrender that are all wrapped up in that feminine energy. And I believe that there's a unique balance and blend for every single person, and what works for one person is going to be different for that. And that's what I love to help people with, to create their own real prescription of masculine strategies and structures with lifestyle and mindset and real physical, tangible strategies, prescriptions. It's like a doctor writing a prescription. There are some real things that you can take control of in a masculine way, but there are also these other beautiful elements at play in terms of the feminine, the connection to your spirit, the connection to your soul, your emotional awareness, your emotional intelligence. It's who you are as you carry out all of those beautiful masculine structures. So if anything, over this last month and over the course of the summer, this has really enabled me to really see that that is where I am really heading in terms of what I want to do and where I want to focus. This balance of life and love and health and work and career and purpose and joy and connection and all of those beautiful things, that unique balance for you. So what did I wanted to share? A little bit of context, I think, maybe just if you haven't been following my stories over the last couple of weeks, and especially over this weekend, there's been some big health disruption, shall we call, when some health disruptions have really come along to disturb the balance, that beautiful balance and flow in my life. And one happened to me, and one happened in rather a shocking way for my son this weekend. But obviously, as as a mother to any of you mothers out there, if anything happens to your child, it also really happens to you. I don't know about you, but it definitely feels that my children, having born them, having grown them, having nurtured them, it's like if it happens to them, they are just a walking piece of me, just in another body. So it feels like it definitely happens to me. So it really has been quite a turbulent couple of weeks. So firstly, for me, I had recognised and been monitoring my, what do I want to say, my mood, my health. It's just something that I'm very, very aware of, my well-being. And I recognised that there were a few things that were starting to ring some alarm bells for me. One, I had a headache that wouldn't go away. I had it for about 2 weeks. I was having really unexplained insomnia. I had really unexplained depression. My self-esteem, my mood was at a really low. And although I've been diagnosed in the past with clinical depression, that was born on the back of some really big life-changing events, but there was nothing I could pinpoint that was causing me to feel this low. I mean, I've had the most amazing summer, and I have my health and my family's health. I'm in a wonderful relationship. My family's all good. So it was really unexplained. I was also experiencing more and more heart palpitations, and I was experiencing some real dizziness to the point where I was having to hold on to things in order to keep myself stood up. And some forgetfulness. I love speaking, I love words, and I was really struggling sometimes to remember what I was doing, and that was really unlike me. So I had started to become very, very aware of some of these symptoms. And I'm bringing this in terms of the context here because I wanted to talk to you today a lot about instinct and trust. And it was because I was beginning to trust in my instincts that there was something wrong, and I wasn't really sure what it was. I had an inkling, I was a bit frightened about what it might be, but I really trusted my instincts to know that there was something wrong, and it was important for me to take action immediately as opposed to waiting. And similarly with my son this weekend, in a much more dramatic fashion, and maybe this is all happening to me to give me these messages, but in a very, very dramatic way, my son was taken very suddenly poorly on Saturday morning. He was in excruciating pain, and my son, strangely, has a very high pain threshold, to the point when he broke his arm and it was like a banana, like it went like this, he just laughed at me and went, "Oh, mommy, look at that." And I was like, how are you not crying? How are you not screaming? How have you not passed out? So I know Tom has a very high pain threshold. So to see him in this level of pain that was making him vomit very violently was absolutely terrifying. And I trusted my instincts at that point that there was something wrong. My husband said, "Oh, he's been out playing golf. Maybe he's got sunstroke." Whereas I was just like, I think there's something a little bit more than that. And actually, James's thoughts about that have really quite shocked him, and he was very pleased that we went with my intuition. So what I wanted to say is that I instinctively knew that there was something very wrong with Tom, and it was possibly time critical, and ultimately it was. So in both cases, I was able to really trust in my instincts. And the only reason why I believe that I was able to trust in my instincts is because I am so heightened to the awareness of them. One of the biggest things I love to teach and talk about is the level of mindfulness, which really encompasses awareness of yourself, awareness of your thoughts, awareness of your feelings, awareness of your behaviors, awareness of your actions, and aware of how all of that is changing your reality, creating your reality, influencing your reality. And in both of these cases, I knew that there was something wrong in the moment, and I needed to act in the moment in order to influence the outcomes. And in both cases, I took action, and I took the right action based on everything that my instincts were telling me. So my real message is one of trust in your instincts. And I believe that and what I wanted to share and offer up for all of you to really consider is to start to tap into that instinct more often, because this is not necessarily something that I've always done. In fact, in the past, I've often overridden my instincts with logic or reasoning, and it's actually taken me down a path that I didn't want to go. So this is something that you can get very, very practiced in. It's about honing this practice of trusting and connecting with yourself and listening to yourself. And the more you recognize that in yourself, the more you're going to be able to act on it, because you trust in it. trusting in your instincts. So the more you listen to it, the more you act on it, the more you can then trust in it, which is why then you can take those big, brave, bold moves and just move with them, whether that's to do with your health, whether that's to do with your family's health, whether that's to do with your work, your career, your health, your relationships. You have to trust and learn to trust in your instincts. And it's just about honing it as a practice and a skill. It's about not doubting it. It's about really, really just moving with it. And I believe that that has been one of my key strengths that I have learned over the last decade, is to really bring that level of awareness and honing it as a practice in trusting it. Because it's actually when we're looking for answers, I used to have a tendency, and I've worked with many clients, is that they look outside themselves for the answers. Whereas actually, often cases, the answers lie within you, you know. And I know that sometimes that finding those instinctual answers and trusting in your instincts can be really scary. And I've written down a couple of things that I wrote and took myself through when I was going through my own health issues these last month. Is, where am I not trusting in my instincts? Where am I not trusting in my instincts? And actually, why am I avoiding it? And it was in that I found those answers. I was avoiding my instincts to know that I needed help, because I thought, I was avoiding the fact that either I had early onset Alzheimer's, or I was going through the perimenopause and I needed to go and get some medication, and the medication around HRT had been slammed and I just didn't want to take it. So it was about very much asking myself those questions so that I could then lean in. So my next question is, do my instincts also bring me fear? And if so, what are those fears? And how can I lean into those fears and trust that those fears are actually telling me something that's really, really important, which they were. I was, fearful both for my health, but taking action on it and leaning into it, I found the answers that were less terrifying than my thoughts about what might happen. I educated myself. I did what I do best, which is I got deep and dirty into the educating of myself, of the perimenopause, of HRT, and I found the answers that brought me peace. So it was about trusting in my instincts and trusting in my fears and my worries, but really looking at them with real clarity to find the answer so that I could alleviate what was going on in my mind. Thank you very much. I'm so pleased to hear your son is recovering well. Lovely comment. Thank you very much. Yes, and never failed me either. So important. My pleasure. Such a pleasure to share this. I love to share my stories because there's always a lesson in it for me. And if there's a lesson in it for me, then I believe that there's a lesson for you and anybody else who is watching. So can I trust it even if I fear what my instinct is actually telling me? Can I trust it? And what can I do to lead or help myself through this and trust myself even more? And for me, that was really about educating myself on what I was afraid of so that I was no longer afraid of it. When you take the emotion out of your fear and when you look at it, it becomes less scary, less noisy. So it's about looking at your fears and asking why. Similarly with Tom, with those fears, it was about recognizing those fears, and I was terrified of what might happen, but really trusting in and educating myself on what was happening. So while the surgeons were doing their thing, I was speaking to some of my friends who are surgeons to educate on myself on what was going on and finding peace in that and finding peace in the trust. I wrote a beautiful post the other day, which was an extract from my diary of me really reflecting on the situation and how I managed to get myself through it in a very different way than maybe once I would have done. And it was trusting. Again, I keep going back to this word trust your instincts, and then trusting. I fully trusted. I trusted my instincts. I trusted the doctors. I trusted the surgeons. I trusted that there were universal energies around me that were supporting me, supporting Tom. And I trusted most importantly in the outcome. And this is what I talked about, the difference between trust and hope. And that's what I really learned in this experience. Whereas once upon a time, I would have been hoping and wishing and praying that Tom would have been okay. This time, I trusted Tom was going to be okay. I trusted in the outcome was that he was going to be absolutely fine, that it was going to be the best possible outcome, and he was going to be fine, and everything was going to be fine. And the more I trusted in that, the more I visualized that, the more I felt into that, as opposed to the multitude of scary thoughts that I left outside, everything was okay. Everything was okay because I trusted in that, and it was a different feeling to the hoping. Because I believe that in hope, there's an underlying doubt. There's an underlying doubt that can really influence your energy. Whereas with trust, it's a deep-seated knowing. It's a confidence. It's a this and I only this. And in hope, there is just this slight energy of leaving doubt that can also influence. And I do believe that. So if you haven't read that post, I'd love for you to go and read that post. If you want to trust more and know the difference between trust and hope, that was it. So that was really the context I wanted to bring this trust in. Look inside for your answers, trust in your instincts. And the more you trust in your instincts, the more you're going to trust. It's like this honing, this beautiful perfecting of this cycle. So keep doing that. The other thing I also wanted to share in terms of the trust was very much about trusting every single experience is bringing you something. It's bringing you a lesson. It's bringing you some answers that maybe you have been seeking. And I find this fascinating because every time I look back where I've had some turbulent times, everything has led me to somewhere where I actually wanted to go. It might have been a crazy chaos storm, but as I always say, storms aren't necessarily are sent to disrupt your path. They're often there to clear your path. And this has happened to me so many times. And I might have had a couple of storms over this month, but they've definitely helped bring me clarity. So for those of you who've been with me for quite some time now, you know that I gave myself this summer to live and love and to really enjoy my life and embrace my life and just really feel into where I wanted to go in terms of my coaching business in this next phase. Having just closed and completed one chapter, what did I want to focus my life, my love, my passion, my purpose, my coaching business, and how did I want to mold and shape that? And really these two experiences have given me those answers. This real dedication and focus on helping women who are just like me, women that have this real desire to learn more about themselves, to really create this beautifully balanced, chaotic life, or create balance in the chaos, so that they can learn to navigate the beautiful dance that is life. It's not two-dimensional, it's not work and life. I believe that there's this beautiful dance in play of life and love and health and adventure and joy and work and purpose and family and all of it. And it's just this dance that we get to create for ourselves. And that is what I want to help so many women do. Learn the art of the balance between the masculine and the feminine that helps them create this beautiful life that they can live and love with everything that encompasses that. And going through some of the shocking symptoms that I did for the menopause, it really helped me understand that. Going through the shocking situation that I had with Tom, it's like, how do we balance all of this and understand all of this with the practical tips, with the practical strategies, like the ones I've just shared with you? It was the mindset strategies really over the last, well, definitely over the weekend, it was all around that, the mindset on the trust and really holding that real positive thought and positive energy. It was also some real practical things, just like speaking to my son when he was in so much pain, talking to him about his breathing and helping him focus on his breathing to manage the pain, but also to keep me calm. Little things in your toolbox that you're going to be able to use in the eyes of the storm that you don't have to search for, they're just instinctively, intuitively there. That you can lean on that trust, on the visualizations that I did as Tom was in surgery. Is the practical things that I did to support myself through the perimenopause and my reset, alongside getting hormone replacement treatment, 8LT, but also giving myself my own health reset and writing my own prescription for my nutrition, my movement, my peace, my sleep, my rest, my joy, all of that. So important, the masculine, the balance of the masculine structures, but also the awareness that all of these emotions are going through us and how we can cope with that. And really that's what I wanted to talk about, the second part of this little Monday message. Firstly, all around that trust piece, but the emotional and nervous system regulation reset that I've had to do on the back of that. So there was a lot going on emotionally, and through the week that I worked out that it wasn't early onset Alzheimer's, but it was actually, in fact, the perimenopause, and my symptoms really needed some support from a medical point of view. There was a lot of emotion wrapped up in that, a lot connected to the emotions that really re-triggered some of my old wounds around my mum, around my marriage, around myself, about my identity. So much emotional work around that. But also this weekend, in a real shocking kind of 9-hour period, the emotional roller coaster that I went on, and the nervous system, the disruption to my nervous system, my peace, my calm, that actually meant. And one of the biggest things that I have learned is that whenever there's anything emotional happening, it's important, so important, to let those emotions flow. So while in the moment everything was happening with Tom, I was very, very focused, very almost quite masculine in terms of my structures, the tools that I was using, not allowing my mind to even go to the possibility and the thought that anything could happen drastically wrong to him, making the decisions in the moment, trusting my gut with James, we were doing everything. And it was only afterwards, when everything was okay and I was sat next to him, James had gone home to go and cook supper, but I was sat next to Tom in the hospital bed, and I started to physically shake. My whole body started to go into shock because I'd been holding myself from feeling so many emotions other than just being absolutely clear, that I knew that I had to sit and really regulate my emotions and my nervous system, and reaching into my toolbox of emotional resilience, emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, and allowing myself really to give myself that level of compassion to allow myself to feel all of those feelings that I hadn't wanted to feel while I didn't know what the outcome was with Tom. So we got home, and that evening it was a very, very peaceful one. And the whole of the next day, while Tom was recovering, I recovered emotionally as well, allowing myself. And that's where that beautiful post around trust and hope came. It was really feeling into all of those feelings, allowing myself to cry because I didn't want to cry in front of Tom when everything was happening, allowing myself to talk to James. And we both sat down and we said, can we speak out loud all of the things that we were thinking but didn't dare speak out loud on Saturday? And we spoke out about how we were both terrified that anything might go wrong, that small percentage when general anaesthetic, or he might have bled out, or something went wrong, or somebody was negligent. We allowed ourselves to speak what had been on our mind, but we didn't want to speak up about, and actually in speaking up, it let it go. So this emotional reset, I believe, is very important for all of us, because if you harbour that, and if you hold that in your heart, if you hold that somewhere in your body, it's going to come back. Really important to do your emotional resets, to feel everything, even after the fact, to let it flow through you. I always go back to one of my favourite poems here about Rumi, and it's about allowing all of those emotions in. Your body is a guest house, and it's about allowing all of your emotions in, both anger and sadness, both happiness and frustration, anger and peace. They all belong. We are human. And it's about allowing the ones that we've left outside the door, like I left outside the door on Saturday. Sunday, I let them in. And I let myself feel them, and they flowed through my body, so that yesterday I felt so much better, and today I'm feeling an awful lot better again. So this emotional reset is really important. And the emotional reset isn't just blocking them out and stopping them coming in. The emotional reset is actually allowing them to come in and to feel it, to experience it, because once you've experienced it, you can move on and you can let it go. This is all about the awareness. It's all about the mindset. It's about so much in terms of what I teach, what I love to share. And what I wanted to come in and offer on the back of this little Monday message for you is that if this is something that you want to learn more about, if this is something that you would like to dive deeper into, then there's a few things that I would love to offer up for you to take to the next step. I'm just going to take a drink because I'm a bit parched now. And really talk to you about those. So first of all, as I said, everything always happens for a reason. And as I was going through the symptoms of perimenopause, I was doing a lot of meditating as part of my own prescription to help myself in my health reset. And that made me realize that I wanted to bring back the Monday mindfulness, the Monday meditations with an absolute intention. So intentional mindfulness on Mondays. I can't think of the date. What was it going to be? Is it Monday the 11th or Monday the 12th? I can't remember. I'll put it out there. But as of when the kids have gone back to school, I will be doing Monday evening meditation circles for free for anybody who wants to tap into to do those. I haven't done the branding, I haven't done anything like that yet, but if you want to be notified of when those are going to be starting, when they're going to be happening, please do drop me a message to my DMs, or just go and subscribe to the Hot Pink and Happy Times, because I will be launching them through there and on here. So go and do that. They are going to be free. Bring a friend. You don't have to join them live. You can join me live, but you can also watch them on replay and you'll have lifetime access. So that is going to be something that I'm going to be launching in a couple of weeks. So intentional mindfulness is meditation. It will be for beginners, but also there'll be elements for those of you who know how to do it. It's also going to be a beautiful opportunity for everybody to come in and connect. So they are going to be starting as of whatever it is it the Monday, the 11th or 12th? I don't know. They're going to be happening there. The other thing I wanted to share on the back of everything that I was going through in terms of the perimenopause, I also offered up lifetime access to those first 4 Life Labs that have been going through the Love Club. And you can access those and get those for free if you decide that you want to join the Love Club before the end of this month. So the Love Club is a 6-month membership. You will get monthly Life Labs. I'm going to tell you what the Life Labs are in a minute. And you will also get a live coaching session with me to talk about absolutely anything, whatever you've learned in the Life Lab, to talk about whatever's going on in your life, your work, your business, your career, your health, whatever you want to do. We're going to be talking about that beautiful blended balance that can only be described for you and determined by you. We're going to talk about those once a month. So you get a Life Lab and you get a live coaching session every single month for 6 months. And something new that I'm going to be introducing into the Love Club membership is also a connection forum. So that's going to be starting as of September as well. It's £299 to join the Love Club. If you want to join, let me know. I'll drop you a link, or you can find it on my website, and that will give you the access to all of those Life Labs. So I have also decided what the topic of the next Life Lab is going to be. I'm very excited about that. All the answers happen from our experiences. The next Life Lab is called HRT Cubed. This is going to be a deeper dive into everything that I have experienced this month in terms of how and why and what, and the education and the choices that I've made around HRT in terms of the hormone replacement treatment. And I'm also going to be talking about my absolute health reset that I did for my own health, and take you through the prescription that I wrote myself before I even went to go and get that HRT treatment from the doctor. What could I do that was within my control that could help support my hormonal fluctuations? I'm going to be sharing that with you in that. And then also the Cubed is going to be very much more on this emotional level. It's going to be talking to you about how you can use your human design to help regulate your hormones and your energies within your body. I'm going to be talking to you about rituals so that you can connect very much emotionally and spiritually to yourself. And also, most importantly, how you can give yourself time. It's probably one of the biggest things that I want to share with this. So it's HRT Cubed. That's going to be happening in September. Once again, if you're interested in that, please drop me a DM. Life Labs are £55. You have lifetime access. They're 90-minute masterclasses with workbooks. You can have those individually for £55, or you get them as part of the Love Club membership. There is so much more information on all of the Life Labs, the Love Club, and everything on my website. The link is in my bio. If you want more clarity on anything that I've said and shared, please just do drop me a DM, and I will be more than happy to share more information on any one of those things. But just briefly, Monday meditation circles are going to be happening as of the middle of September. If you want to be involved and know more about that, please join my newsletter, which is called the Hot Pink and Happy Times. You can find the link in my bio. The next Life Lab is going to be HRT Cubed, my journey through perimenopause, both the medical, the practical, and also the emotional tools and tips that you need if this is something that you're experiencing. And then also, if you wish to join the Love Club, you can have access to all 4 Life Labs that have been and gone so far for free, included in your subscription. So you're going to get the one on sleep, which is called Wired and Tired, all the practical tips around getting better sleep. It is also the one that is included about female confidence and identity and yourself. I Know Me, I Love Me. We're going to be talking all about your values and your self-worth. This also includes my secrets to happy relationships, how I healed my marriage, and then how I've used all of those lessons to nurture all the other relationships in my life. And then finally, the last one I did was all about mindfulness, how you can use mindfulness to really live and love your life. So you get all 4 of those for free if you join the Love Club before the end of this month. If you've got any questions, come in and join me. It's been lovely to be back. And just one final note of thanks. Thank you so much to all of you for all your support over the last month, both in terms of my health and my journey, but also, you know, especially this last weekend with your love and support around Tom. It's been so greatly received as I went through all of that. It was lovely to know that you were all there thinking of me, so thank you. And I know that he appreciates your well wishes as well. So thank you. It's been lovely to be with you today. I will be back next week with next week's message. Sounds like everything's going to be on a Monday, but it might be the Monday message or it'll be a weekly message next week. And I will be back then. Lots of love.